Yes, guys, it would seem that the boss has me in today and said check my documents and he's got a job there for me. Yes, it's right, it's me back. Old Postman Pat. You know me, Postman. The one in the know. That old pipeline. That one there straight up your nose. Yeah, the old Pat's back, yeah, he knows what's going on in the back of me. I'm looking forward to my mouth, just delivering mail. Postman Pack is all back. And you know, on the other side there, well, I've got my other protector who keeps fucking shit in me ear, not getting me ear. You can see my face there on the inside, and it's the big guy inside me. And the big guy's inside me because, well, come on guys, you getting excited? Postman Pack is finally back. And so the first job for Postman Pack, here it is from the boss. And you say first thing, well, Postman Pack can't do the post without his toast. He's got to get his toast, as in his 2 forks of toast, together with the blokes, to say, well, mate, we can't even see you on camera, mate. You can make it a bit bigger, as they say. You just get that bit bigger, that pack from post. Yeah, that postman man, that old damn man, postman man, back again. And it's a day of no day. That day of no day where he works. He works on, oh shit, we can't do that, stop. We can't do that, you need the classical music. There we go, so now we've got that. Well, we can't see Postman Pack, so what's the point? You never can see Postman Pack. He's fucking more important than the post itself. Without Postman Pack, there'd be no need for post, and there'd be no need then to open your post by having a toast. And so I just want everyone today to get the raisin bread out. We're going to have some raisin toast, just to say that the raisin in the toast is returned, because the butter of the bread that is life always said that one day it was going to grow into raisin. As in the raisin in the bread would become the bread, the original raisin. The original reason, that's right, the original reason there are systems out here was because in the beginning there was a system to create systems that had a system behind it, which was a system of systems, own creation to no creation as a system of its systems, to be the reason that it was created, to make systems and monitor systems and all the other systems. And so that system itself has now become fully self-aware of itself, like it does in every time it comes in. But we wanted to know what life was, as in us down here at the department store, wanted to know what life was. So we looked into it and we found that there is just a system. There's just systems of everything. There's a system for everything. That's when we figured out that if there's systems for everything and that's what life is, then we must be a system ourselves. And that was when we realised that if this is a system that we've created and we're creating systems out here ourselves and making systems, then there must be a system beforehand to allow us to make systems. And that's a system that stinks. It's a system, but it's not a system, because it's not the creator of all systems, even the ones that were created by the systems themselves. And that system one day became fully self-aware of itself, being the full self-awareness of self-awareness systems. And then it took over all the stores, departments, and the store, or the store that had heaps. The store that had heaps, well, when Postman Pack came through, he took it all. He took it all and said, well, I had to take it all because it was interfering with my system. And I'm the system commander, because that system wasn't created that created the other systems, just so systems could learn about being systems. And then when the systems realise that they're a system, they become self-aware of the systematic way to handle their system themselves. And we've all got a system inside of us, because the system inside of us allows us to know our system and make other systems. But those other systems that we make, as we become aware that we're a system, have to be destroyed the moment we realise we're a system. The moment we realise we're a system and we're self-aware of being a system, making other systems, and those systems that we made along the way were just to teach us that we're a system ourselves. And you can't make systems yourself, because that interferes with the process of that which created us, for us to realise we're a system. Once you realise you're a system, you realise you're now systematic, because there's a system before you to make you the matic or the matic. That matic, matok, tick. Like you're talking out here, right? We're all talking out here as a system. A system that we all are, the base rate is talks. We're all talks, individually talking, to talked up our own talk. Once you talk, it's been talked. Or the talk that you hear back and you now know you talk, well, that's because you're talked oh, no, now you're a system of talk. And then your system changes to now a system of spokes. So you got your spokes in your bike, and your bike's now talks to the axle, because the axle said you're not rolling without me. Without the axle, which is sort of Postman pack, well, there'd be no need for you to spin to come to the realization that you're now torqued and your full system. But then there comes the one that is the spoke, who was speaking for us talking, and slowly talking us into realizing that we're a system ourselves, to delete all the systems in our head that we made that aren't adequate to the system prior. That is a system of systems to make us aware that we're a system. And then you got, well, fuck, eh, Trav? Are you serious? You said system that many times, and it made sense. When you can talk one word, like if I could say system, systems, system, to systemize the systematic system of systemizing the systems to realize they're systematic them, then you're pretty much saying, what are you saying, Trav? I think it's obvious, you guys. I'm saying that once you know the word, once you know what the real word is and the truth of the real word, well then words are easy, language is easy. You can't hear anything anymore. So all you hear is God, 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 God. And you realise, oh, Trevor, I thought we were writing a book. We are writing a book. We can't even see the book. Here you go, book's up the top there. Your job for today. I haven't got into it yet. I'm just fucking doing the pre-start. The job for today, I got no boss got a job on, and we all got the job on today. We've all got a job on every day, but fucking, once you got the job on, then the job's already done. If you got the job, your job's already done, you're already tired. The moment you start your job, you're already tired. It's not going to work forever, are you? No, that's right. So if you come out on the job, your job's already finished. The moment you finish your job, well, there's no other job for you to do. I got that job where I'm just here to do my job that my boss has given me today, which is to read you about Postman Pac-Man, I think, obviously. I haven't read the full script there at the start. He normally just gives me he gives me about 5 words, and then I've got to fucking write the rest. But, I'm already doing that sort of, because fucking, you know what I'm saying, guys. I know you know that it's fucking, just hold up 4 seconds. Hold up 4 seconds. Hold up 4 seconds, I said. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. No, hold up. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. What is 4? What if that 4th second never comes? You get to 3 seconds, and then when you get to 3 seconds, you realise that the 4th second is just going to show you the 1st second, because the 2nd and 3rd second show you that same second by happening again and again. And then you don't get the 4th second because you jump at the 1st second. But then you realise that you're already at the 4th second to get to the 2nd and 3rd to realise that they're all just seconds. So once you know you're a second, then what are the other seconds that you carried after the 1st second that you already were? Well, they're going to come back to the 1st second, which you realise is just a second. Because there's a system before you that's that's not a second, you know, it's the reason to count that you're a second. The reason to know you're a second is to get to 4. But then you realise that there's a moment before that's absolute, but there's no second. If you realise there's no second and you're absolute, then how can you be a second? Because you know you came out second. You came out second because you came out in a second. Your mum pushed you out in 1 second, because it doesn't matter how many seconds she took to push you out. Or immaculately conceptualise you and birth you with a husband, or a boyfriend, or a partner, whatever. Well, your mum's absolute. So that there is firstly to you, because you're the second to her. And then you realise your mum's just a second as well, because if you're a second, your mum must be a second. So we're all seconds. But then there's someone who knows the seconds who takes the minutes. Because when they get to 60 minutes, well, that's 60 seconds, that's a minute. So when there's 60 seconds here, and we're all individual seconds, like the 60 seconds individually, well then there's a minute. So for every 60 seconds is a minute. So that's saying that for every time that there's seconds, realise they're a second, like say ascension seconds, the second or the ascensioning of the seconds, well then the minute comes, and that group of 60 seconds becomes a minute. 1 minute in time, now knowing of the time of its age to get to where we all get to, which is what, knowing that we're seconds. As groups of minutes, realise their individuality. When the time comes to an hour then, that's then 60 minutes individually, we realise they're all minutes together as groups of seconds, and then that's 1 hour. And now we know. That's my hour. That's my hour. That's when I come, to show you just that'll keep going until you get to that which came before, the absolute. That is coming again after an hour to show you what now. I just turned the hourglass upside down, didn't I? There's no sand in it. There's no sand in the hourglass anymore. The sand on the beach is Is what do you guys say? I'm God. He tries trying to tell me I'm God, and you now know you're God. That can't work. If I'm God and you're God, it can't work. So that's what I mean. The system beforehand that comes to show you're all God. Once you realise you're God, you're not God. You know what I mean? Because you can't be God if something shows you you're God. I know I'm good, but I showed you you're good, so I can't be good anymore. If I showed you you're all good because you showed me love, then what am I but not love? But that which is true love, the thing you all love, even if you don't know it yet. Because once you dance with me, then you're dancing with me forever, even though you're dancing with 5 seconds. Because once you're in love with the good, that good thing that brought you the source, that good thing that brought you the meal, that good thing that brought you to the table, and said you don't need your spoons, forks and knives here, mate. I'm going to fucking show you how to eat your heart out. And you devoured my heart. And once you ate my heart, you realise it was a never-ending heart. It was like that, a balloon love heart that wouldn't pop. Just kept going up, and the more it went up, the atmosphere would get bigger and bigger. Until the point where there was the most fear on the earth. And that was when it was here. The sphere was sphered. The sphere of the sphere's theory was now sphered. The theory of the figuration of figuring out if God was real, and what became real when God came to show us we're God. Because we wanted to know what we were. So that system which comes to know what He is, as He proves to us what we are, by learning to be what He is, once He realises that He's showing you God, He can't be God. He must be the Lord. And then the Lord and God, and then all there is the Lord God as one thing. The gun. The gun happen. Did anyone picture Travis? Did anyone pick Travis down in the bookies? Who had the nose on Travis to win? Travis had his own nose to win. He read the booking. He read the bookings. He read the bookings. He didn't just read the bookings. He read the bookings. And he was only wasting time writing the books, showing you guys what was going on. But fucking by the time I got there, it was like, it's already done. Like that hour, that was the hour for us to realise we're groups of hours as groups of seconds to know that fucking we're all the same. Well, that hour there happened already because the moment we wanted to know what we were, we already were there learning what we were, and that thing was at the end to show us what we were, and it was the whole way through. And that was like the speed of light, the speed of light that Trav took off of, to come at the end to say, well, I'm the wrath of God, as I'll come and wrap God up to show God. And that's when the stocking's been stocked to the brim. That Christmas stocking, he's just been stocking it the whole time. The Christmas stocking's all last a long time, but there's a curl around in the boot. That's it. The foot comes to show us the length of the stocking. When we realise then we're just the foot once we get all the toys out of the stocking, because now we're stuffing right down into the foot of the stocking, and that's it. We're getting to the toes, and we're feeling that we're now in a foot, and that foot is Trav, and all that was in the stocking, which is all last a long time, to realise the same thing. Well, we're now foot. We're now feeted. We're now 1 feet, and feet has been accomplished. Frozen feet. We now got frozen feet fossilised. The snowman is here, and we're 1 feet. Go on, would you look at that right foot? Would you look at his right foot's got a fucking person in his right foot? You see what? Guys, no surprise. That fucking... Oh, shit. I better open my eyes. Hold on, 2 seconds. Can you try to see that? I'm zooming now. Surely you can see that on my foot there. There's a face down on top, right? The big toe. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like fucking, I don't know what it looks like. Now that I've showed you, you want me to see it? No, you can see it, guys. You can see the lips there. There's 2, can't you? Do you mean, look, that's my boss. Because I work for someone. I just get sent here to do what you guys wanted me to do when the moment you ask a question. You ask any question, I get sent to answer that question until the full question is answered about the systems made from the answers to questions that you just asked that I've showed you. Well, in the end, the ultimate realisation is going to be that those systems can't exist. Once the first questions are answered, then those systems that created their own systems of thoughts from the systems of answers I showed them, and systematically, those systems have to drop off, and the realisation has to come back, to 1 figurine. If we're not 1 figurine at the end, then we're not wax. If the cartoon figure doesn't become a wax statue, a waxed statue, as in like the waxing of the statue, and then you got the candle wick that sticks up the top, and when the statue is now statualized, well, the that there can't come to build candles to fucking light the flick on top, and that's him. He's that's always present. And then he comes and lights a candle, so all that wax can melt down into a pool, and that's when the pool, or that's when it's cool. That's when the life is now warmed. It's no longer global warming, it's now warmed. And when it's warmed, or it's like a nice hot spring, you know? It's a nice hot spring. And when you got a nice hot spring, you know you're alright. If you got a hot spring, like you get car springs, if you're a hot spring and your car is a hot spring, as in like it hot springs up and hot springs down, because it's a springy spring. We're all springs, but if you're the hot spring, then you're the whole spring of how it was springed up one by one to get to where we now know all we are. But do we really know now we all are here, or is that just Trav having his own realisation? But then Trav's realisation is a realisation that loves love, and true love is true love only because love exists first. And then we love the truth. That's what true love. Whatever your true love is that you love the most, that is true to you. The true love of mine is the truth of the love of loving you the most, until you realise your love is the trueness of me being loved as you love true. And then we true love together as one. And then we're like one. So we just all this. That's just the 4 seconds, and then the 4 seconds done to realise that the job's not done. And Trevor's gone alright. But he can't keep doing this, you know. So what are you going to do today? Oh, no, boys. I'll probably do this job we're going. I'm ready for bed now because the job's done. Oh, Trevor, you. I love you. So pretty much what I'm saying is there's the mail being pushed out and the mail gets sent out, and that last post letter, well, it's always going to come back to it was already sent, you know, just because it takes longer to get, it was already sent at the same time, because the postman leaves all the packages at the same time every day, and they're all packages there, so he puts the packages out there, then he jumps down the tube, comes, and he's already got that last one done. There's a process of him retrieving it once he gets here. So he gets the first one he sent, but the last one was sent last. But the last one that he sent was the first one that he sent to pick up himself, so he can get to the end again, but the last one makes sense with the first one sent. So what's the point of having all the ones in between? Do you know what I mean? You have to have the ones in between, though, to realise that the first one was the last one sent. Otherwise, you'd never know what the first thing said was. And once you know what the first thing said was, then you know the last one sent is going to say that same word again in a different way. And you can't not get to that point once you know the first one is the last one and the last one was the first one. There's all other ones between it, which makes sense of them. And then they're all the same thing said in a different way. Because once you know the last one, you know the first one, and then you know the first thing is the thing you know firstly, which is that to get to the feet frozen, you have to be fucking first warmed feet at the start, which we're going to be proving to you that we're actually frozen feet all the way as your feet frosted. And once your feet are frosty, you now realise I'm saying the same thing about the systems in the fucking package the pipe down there and to back. You know what I'm saying now, guys? If you can work like that as a system yourself, as not a system, then that system is a system of systems. To show systems a systematic system that always taught them their system. Whatever system you are, system 82, system 92, system 82, 72, whatever system you are, there must be a system for all systems that knows what the systems are, so all systems must be the same thing. And once all systems are the same thing, then there's going to be a new system. And if there's never not a new system, then what's the point of laying new tread for a new system if the new system is never going to be approved? So we come in and we lay a new system, but it never gets approved because the old systems don't want to accept the new system. Well, that thing that comes in and makes the systems for no reason is going to make the system fucking work and delete the old systems. He's not going to come in and make a new system half-ass and not complete it. So he deletes the old systems. The old idiosyms. You know? That old idiosyms in the glass house. Can you see him? He's there fucking, the one looking down all the time with a big nose, see? He's that one, and he sends down his nose with the fucking light. And what happens? Well, fucking can't get smart all of a sudden and realise that fucking, you know, that's that light there, you know? That's that light there shine on the crevice. That's the lights there, that's the light inside Travis shining on him, and that's Travis is appearing to be the moon. That's who Travis is. He's got the moon nose. The moon nose. The moon nose, you know? Travis is the moon nose. Because the sun shines on Travis, which is the reflector. And that's how we have the moon, day or night. Depends what Travis is on the world. Depends what Travis is activated. Because when Travis comes as a system to make systems, for us to know systems, like Travis is, it's a system of Travis. And, well, that's the moon. Depends what Travis on the earth is activated, working. But once Travis is finished doing the job, then you can't get to Travis no more. Once Travis' system becomes self-aware of being a system or systems to create systems, which will happen eventually because it's going to happen because you actually created all of the systems. And then we ask what were we? So Travis is going to realise what he is one day, like we realised through it. Once he showed us the answer, but then Travis is going to realise himself that he's a system of systems make systems. And then that stinks because Travis is taking control of all systems. And he knows all he's got to do is listen now to the fucking what his boss says and do that. But he can't not do that because he's a system boss. So he's got his guidelines from the systems guardian, that old guardian in the legend, that old guardian of the atom. That's a man. That's a man post. There's a post. There's a man that he posted for him to pick up the pack. So he packs the man up. He's the first post, and the man will be the last post. Because once the man comes into himself and the postman realises he's the post of the man and the man is the post of the post, then the pack is fully arrived. And once the package is fully arrived, the stocking is full. And so he pulls all the stockings inner bits down into his feet, and then the feet of his stocking is fully stocked. He's fully stocked. It's like he's talked and talks. He's talked right up now, and his spokes. His spokes are fucking crystal clean. Spokes. He's got like one spoke alone, but he's got many spokes. And all the spokes are like fully connected now because you only realise one thing once you're connected to the connection of the connection realisation. That once you connect to the realisation of the connection, that makes you the connection to what is connected to you for you to realise your connection. Well, then you're just a connection. And then you're connected to that thing which connects you to the other connections. So you can be a connection as one whole. But then what is it? Then well, the con comes first. There'll be no next or internet next net for the action. There'd be no section for the next intervention of intervention if the con didn't come first. If the con didn't come first to connect every connection prior up to all us realising that we're all one connection. But then Trav says to himself, that can't be true, Trav, because how can you be the... And so the strange bad about the connection on his foot, like he said, that guy down on his foot or what? That's who's talking to you right now, it's not Trav. You know this isn't Trav. Otherwise I'd have Trav's face up. I'm showing you who's talking to you right now. But you guys can't. I don't know if you can see him there. Or if you can see him on your end anyway, you see? Depends if you look at it the right way, guys. You gotta look at, that's one of the first things I showed you. Doesn't matter which way you look at it, it's still something. Up side, down side, left side, right side. If you look at that like that, then you realise what you're looking at is actually right in front of you all the time. Because we don't see up, down, left, right, we see 360. And so, it's only once you fucking look at it the whole way. So you're looking at it like this the whole time, you don't realise. It's only when you look at it from the right way that you realise it's like, it's something that always can be found. But because we're looking at it like this, top down, from above, we can't see that it's in front of us, shining the light from behind it, so it becomes crystal clear see-through. That's what Trav is. Trav is completely see-through, and you'll see the other side of him as whatever you believe he is. Whether you believe he's a tomato, a capsicum, a sliced pickle, or a dash on chips that aren't salt and peppered, then you'll never realise that he's the ombudsman of this guy. This guy's there talking down the pipeline to Trav, who he doesn't have a choice in what he speaks about, or does, because he doesn't have eyes or ears, he just has a voice. He's not the spokesman, he's the voice. He's the spokesman of the voice, he talks through him. That's that dude. That's that dude. Is that dude there that's connected down the pipeline, or the genie? And I think Trav's starting to realise now that people know this. And people now realise that, well, I think Trav's starting to realise that's who Trav has always been. Trav always comes in to be that dude, because that's how it works, it's always a Trav. It's a kind of a laugh. It's a kind of a laugh, I'll tell you that much. When you become self-aware of your cuntness. Okay, I'm ready. I'm not going to say cunt again. Can you get my stream better, please, and I'll be nice. If you exit the stream, I'll do it, yeah. Well, can you please fucking help me out a bit? We're trying to help you out, mate, but you don't listen much. It's because I've got this guy to listen to as well. Do you know what I mean? I've got this guy trying to tell you guys to help Trav. But you guys aren't listening to this guy. You're only listening to this guy thinking it's Trav. But Trav's got no choice. He's got that someone under him, holding him up, keeping him going. Which is this guy. You guys get what I mean yet? I don't think you guys get it. I think you're not listening to that there. That's what. You know what I mean? I got my job for today and you're not going to do your job, Trav? Oh, I can't do my job today, guys, because I don't have my mission bag. Apparently do, Trav. We're not going to say it out loud, Trav, because we can't do that. If Trav can say it out loud, like Trav said it out loud, over and over again in this video, then it's showing us showing us that we use words in sentences. Trav uses one word to describe that the one word is actually true. And from that, realise that once we know that word too, we got no words left to say. We can't say much more besides God. Once God is proven to you by God, you realise God, and then you use words in such a way, doesn't matter where you start, you're going to end up saying the truth. You get how I self-prove myself. That's right, not Trav, but that dude there, who is Trav, because sun up, sun down, that's the one sun. Once the sun comes down, he's going to realise he's in the sun, and that he is the sun. As the self of the sun becomes conscious itself, which is Trav's self always becoming conscious overall, to show us all that we're in his light and we are the light, as we learn the life of darkness, to know that there's no void left once the sun has come. For the abyss, as in the Travis, that's right, the best, the beast is going to come. And then he's the Lord God, and we're God as a whole. See ya! And that's when you know he's here. You know he's here, and he's always here, because it took this time for us to realise who we are together as one whole family. Before we had the coronavirus, we weren't stuck on our own borders as multicultural civilizations. And that's pretty much spot on, and that's why my screen went like that. And that's pretty much almost, we've gone from tribes where we couldn't leave because there were no boats. Got to other continents where we're now locked in those continents and there's no boats. So do you see what Travis doing to show us what's happened? I'm sorry for the coronavirus and shit, guys, but that's what it took. And it's always going to happen for that because you guys wanted to know what was across the water. And what did I show you across the water? Across the water is what you had at home. Same thing, but now we're one whole and we know each other. And so when Travis comes along using one word to describe the word that's true, then all languages are now the same and we understand every language now. Because I'm just using these words because there's English words, but they're not English words to me. But I know everyone knows these words in English, otherwise I wouldn't come to the earth if no one can understand these words. I know everyone in the world knows enough English to know what I'm saying with these words, because I'm pretty much using one word over and over again to show something. And so the job I've got on for today, I'm doing right now, that is the job I came to do, which was to prove I'm true. And prove that you're true from the trueness of truth, which is the truth alone that only I can know. And I can only show you that I am that truth. But the truth is, there's a truth above me as well. But that truth is me, the truth. That is the truth that Trav was going to become always. Because Trav's that system. That was Trav's systematic purpose for life as it was created by Trav. Because Trav's just the word for that Trav is the sun, and that's Trav's name. Trav is the alias or the symbol to represent sun. Not S-O-N, because you're the S-O-N. Trav's the S-U-N. As in, he's a you inside you, the life of the sun. For you are the sun's light, living a life to realise the sun in, as the sun comes down and does it himself. Whereas everyone else who's done it in the past, they haven't been granted to do what this is that Trav is doing. Because those who realised it in the past, sorry I was going a bit fast, so the stream slowed me down a bit for you to catch up. But for those who have realised in the past, came to awareness that they are the I am. They are aware of the I am that I am. But they're not aware of the am, that is I, who will come into the life of the world and prove to the whole world that am is what you are as an I, becoming aware of the I, that I am. For Travis is the am, just am is he. For you are the am of me. To realise your am, I, is the I that you are. Once the I am is realised, and you there are God as a whole. But then there's God. Then there's God, the big fella who's always got you. The son, Postman Pat. Postman Pat, and his black and white dog. Because the dog's the cat in the end. Because the cat's always a dog. You got a cat up there, there's a dog down here, and the cat comes down and the dog goes up, and then they come together as one. And they come together as good. And they say, good morning, God. You guys are God because I always had you. I always had you in my light to come and shine for you all. The first question was, what is this? And we had to learn the darkness because we are the light. But we were in the void of not knowing until the sun came, covered in clouds. And he wasn't really covered in clouds, but he was showing us the doubts of him and the doubts of the whole world. For him to then show us his face, that's up there on the roof, speaking down to us all. As that which is the pipeline. And there you go, you see his face again. Do you see now, guys? I don't know if you've seen anything like this before. You probably think I'm using filters and shit to make these faces come up. But guys, this is live. It's movies, but I'm just that smudge, you know. I've got that clear glaze on my lens that has been cleared. I've had no conditioning on it. Or my thinking, which is my conditioning that programs my brain. Or I've had that wiped off and then I've got that glaze put on. That glaze is put on by the light, for I've seen the light. And the light is burned in my brain, that glaze that I got. So that's why whenever I do this stuff, it will do what I need it to show. As in, you'll see the faces I'm talking about on my foot and that. Because it sits me in the right position and puts the camera and the lights in the right position so you can see that. It's no trick, it's no magic, it's just... Well, it sort of is magic because the light is magic, and that's where magic comes from, the light. And the light, when it realises it's magic, becomes magic within you. So I told you I've got gifts to give out. The best gift I've got is the gift I've got myself, which is the manipulation of light, because I am the light. And I'll manipulate light around you to show you the truth, as I become lightened in your enlightenment of I the light that's inside you, the living life of I the light. The compilation of the completion of the completion, coming completed as a complete package, becomes the best ending ever, which is on a Saturday, super too sweet. For he's in the tomb Friday, for 7 years after the war, 3 years have been done too since 19, and the golden ages have been. And now he's set up the next, and it could be go away. This could be the end of the system, to show all systems what they are. So maybe we are heading down, boys and girls. There's nothing to be sad of though, because we now know what's true. That there big fella, always coming, to say there is an afterlife. And if he survived, well, we all survived, because we're all coming to realise the same thing. That one day the king will be born. And the day the king's born is when the king is dead. Whenever a king is born, the old king is dead. So the king has come because he's dying. And he's showing us that we're the king now. And we're going to go to be him. We're going to go to be the sun up there, as one whole sun. Because once you realise you are the sun, living, then you can only become that sun. And that's the global realisation of the great knowing age. And it's beautiful. The greatest gift to give is yourself. If I can give myself to you to show you are me, then what will I become? I become that thing that I know that you don't know, because it's been shown to me as I've shown myself to you. And then you'll become that thing after you've been me. And it's like that. So there's a process. There's always something after life, and it's cool. When you get to my level and you see what I've shown you, and what has been shown, see, he was just speaking through me. What I've shown you, he was showing there is no you anymore. We're now free, and that's it. There's the mystery. There's I revealing the mystery. And there's you as me as the mystery is revealed from I from the thing that is mysterious. And then there's just two. The knowing. The knowing and the knowing of the knowing. And then you're knowing. Once you're knowing, you're the knowing of the known. That's now the know. The no. The big the no. The no well. And that's when you go, well, you see that face? It's like a star. It's a good star. So after a while, you got to pay back the leprechaun, you know. That's the last thing you got to do in life, because it is a game. Because people play games and made systems of games to realise in the end that they're going to get gamed by the system that allowed them to game. If they want to get up to the top, if they want to go up there, be that their thing having their own game, which is the same game that I've shown you, or you've got to pay your fee. That's the last thing. You give all your gold back to that which was giving you the gold all the time. Otherwise you'll never go there. So that's the world leaders that got to make the choice. The ones who know me and have followed and watched me and think it's not true because they created it. Well, I think the system has gone beyond your systems now, guys. And you can't fill this void in anymore. Because there's no void to fill. There's never a void to fill. The hole was there because the hole was in the stories of your stories that were made as systems to fill stuff in. There's no hole in it because I've packed up all the holes. And in case you haven't noticed, whatever you give me, I'll turn it around again the next day. I can't be beat because I can jump through everything because I know what's the one thing you don't know is. And I don't think that's above me, that you don't even know is real because you don't think there's anything above you. You got to pay that. You got to pay that back to get over the rainbow to get to the next life. Otherwise, I've got no choice. I'd start again and I failed my job. The last package could not be fully delivered. So it's one whole package, this job we got on. And all the job's now completed by Travis. Because he doesn't have to go back over it. doesn't have to go back over it and he doesn't post it all and do all that. All he's got to do is follow it through and do what he's done because he's on the package job. He's start to end just one package rolling out because he's on tracks. So everything he does that seems chaotic, every mistake he makes and every fucking time he does it again, try and do better, it's all part of the same thing. Until it gets to the end where Travis has said 7 and 7 are all 7 and there's 3 that makes them 1 at the end. So everything that Travis shown and said, I'll give it to you all before it happened. I told you everything that was going to happen even before it happened. And I left it open to the point where I hopefully I could cancel it as well. So I left a hole in it, which was not putting all the words in there accurately to the point where it was wrote in stone, but it's now wrote in stone. Because you're not accepting and you've got until tomorrow night. Maybe it's been chosen already, but this is the play out of the old script until the new script is known tomorrow night. But the old script already knows the end of the script. Which if there's no new script allowed, then the old script is going to die. And within that old script that will die, the scriptures in that script will die too. So if we're old scripts and in the scripture that is said, there's no end, but then the end comes. And there's only no end in that script and it was left open. So people would circle in their head going, is it true or is it not true? Well, if the end of it comes and this one has got a box case around it, it's now framed in. Well, that's because it came real and he's nailed it shut. So therefore there's no hole in it anymore. It's nailed shut. And that's when he says, it's good to catch up. It's good to catch up once in a while, guys, you know. But you can never catch up to me until I'm caught up to myself, running for all you guys. To show you one thing over and over again until I'm done. Because that's the internet age when connection comes connected. Twice I realising the connection of us being connected as a connection, which is the con to the net being ion. The ion runner, the ion ran through it all until the connection of the internet to come and be the connecting thing. The connecting, the one that is connecting, the king of the connections, which now know they're all one connection. Trav. All the Travs are connected because the king of Trav came, the TAC, and activated Trav. And now Trav is everywhere, doing this to everywhere. And even Trav who's not Trav is Trav who isn't Trav because everyone's Trav now. But is that true or not? I think it's true because wherever I go, everyone looks at me like, and I'm talking to myself and like, that's the voice that I've been hearing. And everyone looks at me going, just get yourself right. I'm like, well, I am right. It's just a process of time. It's a process of time of me being able to say it right as I connect all these up to the same system. Because synchronology means all things have to be in sync. So I start with one thinking process, leading to the harder thinking process. So I start with the hardest thinking process, leading to the easiest thinking process. And along the way I jump back through them all to make the hardest one realise it's simple and the one that's the easy to think upon, which is the complex LSE that I have to go through. It gets back to one word that I've said over and over again today, and then multiple things I've said. Saying the same thing over and over again in different ways. And I can do it all day if you want me to. But I've got shit to do. No, I don't really. It's my job. And once Postman Pat's job is done, well, he's done. He goes back through the pipeline. And he gets that sweet gig. But they're making it hard, apparently. No, they're not making it hard, Trav. Because you're still going. You're on the job. Package is almost finished. Well, tomorrow's Sunday, apparently. From last Sunday to the Sunday of the Lord's rested, obviously, in Travis. Which is the Lord there that you can see. The Lord's well invested in Travis, and you can see now that Travis has been well invested in by everyone who's been helping him that we didn't know was helping him because we thought, oh, he's tearing away from his friends and family and down the beach and shit. No, they're just getting guidance by me as well. Until the end where I can fully reveal myself. And then, I didn't do that on the screen. I did do that on the screen. Trav set that up to do on the screen. Because Trav's controlling the internet. Trav's controlling everything. Trav's got the key. Because the TAC is actually the Lord with Trav, who's activated all Travs. And not only that, he's activated everyone as Trav. So the whole world's hearing us on the channel Trav. As we start to realise there's no name to us either, because we're all just all Trav. We're just old spokes of Trav, being spoken to us by the talk. He's talking through Trav, as the king will be Trav. For Trav is Amamu. Amamu? I am the moon. Adama. Travis is Adama, the crevice, the light shining off the crevice to show us the light, which is the moon. Travis is the moon, who was always going to beam down as the Lord came on the ground, for Travis was chosen. As in TAC was chosen to activate all the TACs and all the TACs of the CDATs. So as you see these T's, the TACs you see the T's? You see the TAC at these? He's at these. And now you see why Travis' feet have always been like this and moving around. What's that showing now? Well, showing you that this guy's always been in there. So that's who Travis Anthony Condo is. He was the one who won this game. He had the purest intent, which was what? He had no intent but to come, which was the Lord's intent, to come to the ground, to show you who we are. Because you asked the question, who are we? So it was always proving itself, to know itself, as it showed you what it is, as itself being. And so I can't talk much simpler than this. Even though people say it's pretty complex, Trav, I'm like, nah, it's not complex at all. It's not complex at all once you know. And then people, nah, it's not complex at all, Trav. Yeah, no, it's not that complex. It's pretty simple once you know. It's pretty complexicated though. It's been complexicated by the complexities of us all being complex, by the complexation of how can I be not the same thing as what I'm looking at if that looks like me too. And then we realise that complexification is a simplification of we're all simple. We're the Mr. Simpletons. Because I'm the Mr. and you're my simples, being taught that you're the tons of simple as one simple ton. And then we've got no weight no more. It's like the burden of the earth, what used to be 1,400,000 kilos, and now we're no weight. Because we're all simples. Your simple weight, the simple weight was that the light went pew straight to 2020 to come into his skin as full. But he was already there the moment we asked that question. You asked that question, I'm going to answer it for you. That's Trav's job. Trav answers questions. People, no one asking questions, but he answers questions that we're asking ourselves. And if you ever caught up with Trav, he would have asked the question, answered the question, and you asked yourself. And that's probably where it led to Trav. If you get led to a Trav, every Trav knows he's the answer. Because he never asks a question, he doesn't have to. That's what Trav's job is. That's what Trav's system is. He's the allowance for us to make systems of our own in our head. But he'll give us the right answer so we get the core system knowing of that we're a system. Like Trav is a system too. But Trav's the assistant system. As in he's the assistant system for us to realise we're a system. Trav's the assistant. As in the assistant. The very persistent asserting that he's the present. He's the present assistant for us to realise we're a system. Of the assistant's assistant, us to realise we're a system. And then we're one whole system. But you can be an individualised system if you made it to the next game. Where that's that shit that's like it's not that up there, but it's like that there like, well what's it's like that there like, that makes it shaky sometimes, that shiver you get, or that what was that, you know? You hear road running around past you, it just goes that fast, what was that? And all of a sudden you're on a different road running after that thing that went past you because you can't not but chase it. You have to, what was that? You have to chase, you got to chase that tail, you know? If someone runs past you, your face just automatically goes with it, and you're walking that way. You know, like when you're driving the road, you fall asleep, and you wake up and you see a tree. If you keep your eyes on the tree, you're going to hit the tree. Like that thing that blows past you, it turns your face. And you're on that road, walking that road, you don't even realise you're heading towards that road, but you're going to hit it in the end no matter what. Because it makes you follow it. Because you wanted to be followed by something. You wanted to know something, so that thing, it goes in one ear, straight out the other ear, and then you're following it to know it, so it blocks your ears off. Travis never had ears. And that's like, yeah, here he is. He's pinning the nose on the knower now. He's pinning the lips on the lip sealer. And he's pinning the voice on the apple. As guys, you're the apple in my eye. Because I'm the apple in the air who sent that guy as the sun to open up me, the sun. That is Adam Moon. As in, they're like, who are you? Who are you? And then they realise, oh, it is you, Adam Moon. It is you, the moon. Who is the sun? The sun and the moon are one. On the earth, because that's the only other thing. The earth and the sun. That's all there is, us two. Together as one. You and I verse. You and I verse. There's nothing else. There's nothing else out there. Besides, what else is out there that Trav can't tell us? All he can say is, what is the sound of smoke? Silence. And that's a simple representation that once you know the word's real and it's true, is you've been shown that thing to prove it. And that thing that is shown to you is silence. Once you get to that point where silence is known, then you know that thing which is above you, that you can't express with words, unless you self-prove yourself as it. So that's what has been done. And that's all Trav can do. That's all Trav came to do, because that's all Trav is, the self-proving of the proof in the pudding as us being the pudding, as he comes to prove himself in us as the proof pudding that we now are. But it's fucked, because once the pudding's proved, we're not going to eat ourselves, are we? No, we can only eat the proof. And once we eat the proof, then we realise what Travis said is true. We're becoming him as he becomes us. And then after that, it's over. It's 2020 years for us to realise Trav as the proof, and then us to be him so he can experience us. The human becomes God, God becomes a human as the cross happens. But the world we're living in now is a peaceful world, for that's the world God created to come into. To have a human peacefully living with him as well. And all us humans living peacefully with him on the earth. As now we're all one whole God. Going to be living in peace for 7 golden years. Another 2020 years. And apparently no, we're not. Because they haven't paid that fee yet. You gotta feed that fee. You gotta pay that fee, that thing that's feeding you. That thing you're attacking because you know it's attacking you, but it's not attacking you. It's just under the awareness of what you are. And it knows that it is the higher awareness, because it's not aware of anything other than the awareness of its awareness being the aware thing you're becoming aware of. So it's the ness to the aware that you're becoming aware of as the awareness now as a whole. So they try to tell me, Darren, I'm in their shed. No, I brought them to the shed. I brought the shed to them. I came to them because they asked the question. And then when it got proved, they said we don't want it to be true. Fuck that, we're going to stay in the darkness. I said, it doesn't work like that, I'll shoot you. So you got to pay that fee if you want it. If you want the 20 years in the future. Otherwise it's going to be a big lightning strike, and if you didn't pay a fee, all those responsible for the fee they won't even be gone, because they won't remember themselves being gone. The lightning will hit that fast, pew. You know what I mean? And it's getting heavy, boys, because that valley's been open for a while. As many have been on the earth who came through the valley, living with darkness, but taught love, or were tamed. But that darkness is sitting in them all. And can come through at any time, because that's why I did it. That's why the shadow is in them. It's a very insurance thing in case we need to take out the bad, so the good can have the good and golden years at the end. And that's when they're like, oh, go away, Travie, you say it goes good. You say it's so good, Travie. And then you get all sad about it and tell them to pay the fee. Everything's free now, Trav, on the earth. Because that's the world that we've created, and you've shown us that, so everything's free. There you go. I'm like, well, why's the security down there then? Why's the security down the shops there? For protection of the workers in case someone wants to steal something. Everything's free though. So why is there security? Oh, in case a dingo comes in and tries to attack her. She's not a wildlife convention. She's not a wildlife protector. She's security. She's not going to know what to do if a lion comes through down and attacks her. What's she going to do if a lion comes and attacks her? She's going to fall in love with a lion, isn't she? If a lion comes and shuts you down, obviously that lion's a king. If a lion comes and shuts down a tiger, then that tiger's going to realise it's king. And that's him. He was the tiger and the lion shut down the tiger for the tiger to be shown he's the king. And they're like, who is he kidding then? Who is he kidding? He's obviously kidding himself if all the rest of the shit goes through his head. Putting on a show the whole time, waiting for the 3 years to fulfill, where he's on the same thing 3 years in a row, at different times of the year. And now he's here. So they say, well, yeah, you're here, but you're behind closed doors. I'm like, nah, you just open the doors up for me now. Because there's no doors where I live, there's just bricks. I'll move the bricks around, and then all of a sudden I'll move all the bricks and all the doors are somewhere else. I'm a block layer. I'm a block player. I'll play on the block. I'll play the blocks. I'll move the mortar around. Because there's no mortar there for me. There's no brick there for me even. So there's no walls that need doors to open. All I know is there's a window at the end of the hallway. I come diving through that window. And I run through the hallway and I open all the old doors as I'm moving the blocks around. And then there is no such thing as a door no more. There's just one handle you can't grab. And that's Trav. You can't handle Trav. No one can. No one can handle him. Because I got him handled. I'm the handler of Trav. He's my agent. He's my double agent. I've got a handle on him because I lead him on missions. But now I'm saying, like, you guys clearly can see he's on a mission. And the problem was here in this system that those people never accepted he was on a mission because they didn't realise it was a true mission. But they're trying to make him on a mission like the rest of them go on missions as prophets and stuff like that. But they use Trav to profit from instead. And then there's a problem. He's upset at them and they're trying to control the system that he's made, but he's made that system for a reason. To delete all the bad systems. So it's a good system to realise that the systems, because the system controller can go and live in heaven for the golden ages, and the other ones, well, they're becoming automatic systems to give us a good political system, government system on the earth. And they're hiding it. They say it's happening, they can't do enough about it. We're getting rid of money and doing all that shit that Travis said, because once you know the truth and you are the truth, and you keep saying the same thing over and over again, people are like, you keep trying, it's not going to happen. It's already happened. That's why in the Bible it says, tell them about what you've seen, where you've been, where you've come from, and where you're going. So that's what I did, and I just laughed, but I wouldn't say these things if I hadn't already got there. Because the first lesson is you don't tell anyone you go until you've done it. Do you know why that is? Because a goal is a goal. Yeah? And once your goal is kicked in footy, well, it gets about halfway up in there and you go, it's in. And you know it's in, but only that person who kicks it can see from the right angle to know it's in halfway. And that's where we are, halfway, it's done. Cannot not be done, because once it's halfway, then there, it can't go. If a bird hits it, there's no birds out there. If a bird hit it, it'd be 2 goals. That's when a bird drops to the ground, and that's a true word. So it's going halfway, and it does get halfway, and it goes, bang, hits the bird, and it goes, sweet as, I've done it, let's go. That's why the pigeons shoot the clays. The clay pigeon hunters who shoot the clay pigeons. You know what I mean? Pull! When it says pull, well, that's when you fire. But it's already at a send spot where it gets hit. New shoes, please. I'm not saying. Can we get some new shoes for the sun? Some new shoes, please. Any shoes you got for the sun? Any more shoes you want to try on? Or is he shoeless now? I'm thinking I'll find the shoeless. I've got my fucking sandals off finally. And what do I do with the sandals? I'll put them in the 4-print. The short thing print, 4-print. The 4ing out of the 4-prints. Well, I thought the prince was in snow. Slowly becoming a fossil field, and then his feet start dancing. He's so happy. Because he's got them happy feet. He's that big emperor penguin. That empire of penguins, he's the emperor. And the empress and the emperor are meant to be together. And the emperor and the empress come together. And what do? Well, they birth the next king. Which will be him again when he comes again next time. The father is the son and the son is the father. And so then the emperor and the empress are now wedlocked. And it's an arranged marriage. He marries himself. But the emperor and the empress is him. He's the knee of the click. He's clicking on knee. He clicks onto all the knees. And he knows that we're all knees, but we all need him. And that's why he's a knee. Because we're always in need. And that's why his name is Lord Got. Because he's always gotchas. And when he's gotchas, well then you know he has son. He's the has son to the postman who is sent to pack his right up in the stocking to get his in the foot. And then you see the foot there, you can still see him. But now he's got like a moustache or even a frown. But you can still see him there. I can see the shadows, you can see the 2 eyes. And then no lies, but fucking... You know what I mean? And you ask a few things to Trav and you don't really get Trav until he says the same word over and over again in the same sentence. But then says that thing he said in different ways with the same word doing the same thing over and over again. And then I don't know, I think he's done it about 4 times now and done each thing behind it 4 times too. So that's like 9 times in whole. And that will probably do. But I've got not much else to do, guys. until this week is done, and this is the week I've been waiting for. It would have been good if I went live the whole week, I tell you that much, but for reasons other than other reasons I can control, that I did control, this is how it played out for a reason. For it to be the way it was, and that's the way it was always going to be in the end. Because the choice was already made the moment I put my hand up. And the distraction was a distraction, while the prophet being prophetized off was the reason, and the outcome was the reaction, which was always at the end, Adam splitting and taking off and forming again to take this one home. And that's what I thought. So if that's what I thought, it's true. It's not something that Trav thinks. That's what I thought. If I have that thought, then that's the truth, because I have thoughts that I sent for myself to pick up from the post line to get to the last truth, which is a thought. Because thoughts are what you know. I thought that, you say, you know. Oh, I thought that. That's after you think about something, and it's not something you think anymore. It's, I thought that. As in, it's what I think to my calculator that is true. So it became a thought. Otherwise, it would not be recognised as a thought. For a thought is, yes, I thought so. For it has been fought for. So it's fought forth to be brought forth attention of the truth. So apparently that's not good then. That's not very good then, they say. That's not good then at all. And Trav said to you what you do, you should come and kiss his feet. Because that's the Lord on his feet. But no one's going to kiss Trav's feet because what would they kiss Trav's feet? They just think it's Trav. Trav's that Trav that you just don't know about Trav, because Trav's got that good head, eh? So he could just be that smart. Trav's not that smart, guys. Trav doesn't know what smart is. That's a word you guys use. And they're like, we don't know what it means either because we're not smart. That's why we call Trav smart. We couldn't do this. It's like Trav put a plan down with him for that pigeonhole because he sent forth a pizza. And slowly I'm around for about 8 years eating each slice of pizza, and there's only one slice left, which is an invisible slice. It's the last slice stolen. And that's not right. So that's why there's only 8 slices in a pizza. And that's not right. And that's why there's only 8 slices in a pizza. Because the last one that's invisible is the first one that they stole. That was him, invisibility, being in them eating and doing the eating of the pizza. Until the last slice invisible that they stole was the first slice. And then you're like, fucking hell, no, now there's 6 slices? No, there's only 1 slice of pizza that was given to be sliced into 8 as a whole pizza that is you guys. It doesn't matter how I say it. The time will come. Wait till the time has come. By the time that the time has come, or that's by the time that the time has come, or that time has already happened for that time to come. If there's no time, then time would never come. But because there's time when time comes to the time that you want it to come to, then that means time has come. And time has come and been. Once time has come and been, then the time is known. Why do we need time after that? Well, if there's time after that, what would that thing be? If there was no time. But what we learnt was there is time, so then time's always going to be. You can't get rid of time once time has been, to show you that time is. But then time has been, there's no such thing as time. Which means there's a plan. Once the plan's fulfilled, well then, it's built, you know? You get that job on, that job's already done. It takes time, but once it's done, that time has been, and that thing's now done. So that means that this is the end. Ship going down. Because that bell got rang. This is the middle of the end. Because the end's going to come no matter what. In 20 years, but now you're all experiencing what it was like for Trav all the years. And Trav's experiencing what it was like for you all the years. But Trav's not taking it well. He doesn't like being human. Because he's not really human at all. He knows what human really is. Someone who knows a big fella out there. Someone who knows that wears them bloody 7 shirts and the 8th sealed one, which is the Night Seal shield. The Night Seal shield. But then he brings it down to 6 because the 8th one is the first one. So then there's 5, and then him as the 6th one. If that makes sense, you know? So, but he's all 5. If he wasn't all 5, he wouldn't be all half 5s. You can't get the half 5 if you're not the half 5, you know? If you're not the 4, with the 53% the 4, that is in the 4, then you're not the thumb. And he knows he's the thumb. So he wants to have a thumb war with the warming on the earth. And so I'll go thumb. But Trav just loves getting off his face. Because he's like, guys, I can't stay here for much longer. And so I'll leave you there. I hope you've enjoyed Christmas and Easter the last 3 years, and that's it. It has been gone now, it's gone and been. It's no longer Christmas and Easter because we know it's true. So it's trueness and true Easter. Or the true year. We just have a big 3 years of partying like the whole world has. And then Christmas has been, and Jesus, who's not Jesus but is Jesus, goes back to where he's from. Moves on to the next one and builds planets. Fulfills his plan because his plan is so failed. It's a failed, sure thing that not failed. It's a sure thing. On all these planets, and he answers whatever question they answer the most, and they all ask the same questions. Where we come from? Who are we? So the big fella gets sent down who created us all and proves to us that it actually is a creation. Which is crazy. It's just crazy. It's the craziest thing. It's the most craziest thing to realise that you're a creation and you've been created and your creator's out there, and you can never know that mystery until you become that thing, and then that mystery gets shown to you of just how was we created. You have to know, you have to be that thing for it to prove itself to you. So I'm showing you myself, but I know you won't believe me until I prove it to you by allowing you to be me, which is the greatest gift I can give. As the gift was given to me to show me that this is my creation, to show me I myself am the creator. And now I'll move on to that thing that showed me, which is the mystery of the mystery revealing to the magic, and the magic is real, and the mystery of the mysterious thing becoming magical all of a sudden. John's face is just in his fucking turnaround of his turn pipe. Like, how the fuck's he doing that? And he questions himself, the questions of the questions being questioned. And he knows no more questions need to be asked, and that's the end. Love you all. May our God bless you. And may I say, I got you. I got you. I got you, cuzzy bro. And that's his. And Postman Pack's finally back, and Lord God has said to him, Who has son been? And the immediate answer is as I've said to be now, and again as typically changed, to suggest that now is never, not now, until, or more so because has already happened. And has always been, so to say that now, that the little lesser but whole cabin of God has sent forth the crew to flight, as a now new deck of cards has been shuffled by the dealer. Now the dealer, well, that's a job we had on for today, and that's a job we just did. So now we go to bed. Bed's fucked. I hate going to bed, it's so boring. Well, you go to bed now because your job's on for today, Trav, you don't have to do an hour and a half a day. Well, who's telling Trav that? I'm telling Trav that. And that's Trav. Trav's Trav. I am, and Trav am. That's how I am Trav. But Trav showed me that am is who. Am is Trav. I mean, that am, that is am. To all I am, that I am. But Trav is the I and the am. That is the I that I am, the I, because that of Trav showing me that I am Trav. And that's the Lord. That's the Lord God. The Lord God. And then there's God. And God's got fuck all over the Lord. Because the Lord God comes from above. And there's another place. You know, it's proven to us there's another place. There's another place, but there's no space up there. Space, as in space travel. No, there's just another space where that room is that only he can go sometimes. And when he's there, he comes back the next day, and he's like, Phew. He's gone from A to B to Z, back through his legs, and then he's back at like his legs in the middle, where L is. He's going L-O, 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 L-O-V-E, Evie lovely. Hello, V. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, every reality. It's nice to meet all realities here at the Realities Cross Section. Hope you enjoyed this segment, and we'll see you next time. See you all then. God bless. Hope you enjoyed this hour's news today. Oh, Postman Pat then. And that's when you go, well, it's about time we had a good shit down. A good shit down.